The research group in social challenges in complex societies was founded in 1997 to respond to emerging dilemmas caused by the changes that have shaped today's society, a society that is increasingly complex, dynamic, and unstable, and that has generated significant challenges for integration, the basic forms of sociability, and the coexistence of people. The group has focused its investigation on those social challenges that are most relevant to our immediate area, Jaén and Andalusia: migration processes, race issues, changes in the labor market, poverty, addiction, adaptation problems during childhood and youth, and the social development of the region. In the context of these social problems, the group has taken a mediating role and has given special attention to vulnerable sectors of the population, those with difficulties in adapting to changes and at greatest risk of social exclusion. The group has the following lines of research: employment and social integration of vulnerable groups, migrant, ethnic, and multicultural processes, social conflicts and peace mediation, young people and children, education, work, and leisure, dependence and compensation policies, processes of exclusion and social deviance, demographic change and emerging forms of sociability, and social development of the region. The research group on social challenges in complex societies, or SEJ-311, was established with the aim of bringing together researchers in the field of social sciences who shared an interest in the study of the challenges, the problems, and the innovative social dynamics that arise in the evolving society in which we live. We are moving from an industrial society to a post-industrial society, to a globalized knowledge society, and that means big changes in the security that those previous, more familiar societies offered us. Understanding this, we have researchers in sociology, mostly, but also demography and anthropology, and we try to identify the new challenges that arise that could become significant problems. Our group got started in the final years of the 80s and 90s, in early studies, and we were concerned with migration. At that time, it was a very new phenomenon. Spain has always had immigration out of the country, but has not been receptive to immigration in. And from there, we were seeing that immigration was not just a phenomenon of our historical change and our socioeconomic development, but one of many things that were changing. Within these scenarios of change, we have seen that the populations that are especially affected are those that have fewer capabilities in acquiring the knowledge to integrate into the new society, which is based in greater competition, greater knowledge, and greater challenges on a global level. And especially in territories like ours, our province, which is more confined in its capacity for social and cultural development, etc., we thought it would be very interesting to see how it was affected. So our main lines of research have focused on immigration, but also on childhood. Childhood has been one of the most affected groups. It is an invisible social group, which has not been given special attention by the social sciences, and we're now observing, though we have been studying this for many years, that they face a disproportionate level of inequality relative to the general population. We're also concerned with the increasing amount of conflicts that arise both intragenerationally among youths and intergenerationally between parents and children, as well as their subsequent mediation. These are all issues that interest us and that we continue to move forward on. Lately, demography is an important issue because single-person households are opening a new form of sociality that will be interesting to study. Our research group has been studying the issues of social and economic organization in today's society, which are some of the classical issues in sociology. Classical, in this case, doesn't mean outdated, but rather that these issues have always been something we have to think about and research, even more so today, given the increasingly dynamic society in which we live. To be more specific, one of our lines of research, on which I personally work, deals with issues in the world of work, in the labor market, for example, and workers' organizations.
So, Inma, please, tell us about your main line of research within the group.
I am a founding member of the group and have participated in most of the research that they've done, although I have focused particularly on social alienation and processes that affect groups and individuals that suffer from some kind of addictive consumption. Essentially, the research tries to understand the social contradictions that proceed from the social environment, socialization problems, or even isolation, which can lead to addictive behaviors. Among the group's various lines of research, the most recent undertaking is the study of the impact of socio-demographic changes on our society. If you think about it, many of the current debates in the socioeconomic field in this country have to do with the changes that are taking place in the demographic structure. That is, the composition of the population by age and sex. The aging population and its impact on the basic pillars of society's well-being is an example. These types of questions, how many of us there are, and how many of us there will be, given that we are living much longer, are what the study of demographics is dedicated to investigating, among other topics. The group has several active projects on new patterns of coexistence and social interaction that are acquiring an important role in today's developed societies. One of these emerging demographics is the single-person household. A single-person household is nothing more and nothing less than people who live alone and provide their own livelihoods. So we are particularly interested in this type of household for two reasons. One, because of the growing importance they are acquiring in the demographic structure of the country, as they currently represent 1 in 4 households in Spain and up to 10% of the Spanish population. And the other reason has to do with what motivations lead these people to live alone. Some do it because they want to and can, but another very broad and heterogeneous group does it because of supervening circumstances. This other group of people, we are convinced, has an increased risk and are more exposed to circumstances and situations of social exclusion. We try to provide advice and measures to correct these imbalances. Business sectors and/or public entities to whom the research is directed. In the public sector, political and social representatives who are able and willing to intervene in public policy, and in the private sector, non-profit companies and businesses, and companies interested in covering specific demands for goods and services to growing populations in the social structure, the elderly, single-person households, etc.